Hi everyone and welcome back, it's Boone, and today I wanted to do a video where I sort of just go over my general goals for 2021. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can hear you saying, Boone, goals for 2021? Isn't that really a December or a January thing? And to that I respond, better late than never. I'm not someone who normally does things like New Year's resolutions or anything like that. I usually try to make kind of smaller, more immediate goals on a more like weekly or daily basis even. I don't like to set myself up for disappointment too much, and I'm not like a big like I'm gonna exercise this much, or I tend not to set unrealistic goals, and I certainly don't wait until New Year's Eve to make changes that I think are important. But this year does feel fairly significant, and I feel like I made a lot of progress on myself last year. And I feel like looking at a sort of broad range of things that I hope to do and achieve and just work on, then doesn't necessarily have to all be accomplished this year, but just to work on and try to work towards in the next few months and potentially the next few years. It's a fun way for me to sort of get my attitude on the right track and look to the future. So the first goal I have for this year, to start very broadly and very vaguely, is just to better myself as a person. Just in every sense of the way, I want to try and be the best Boone that I can be on a daily basis. I know we're still in the middle of a pandemic, but as much as I can, I really want to meet new people as much as possible and safe. I want to learn as much as I can about the world, about myself. I want to stay educating myself and growing and learning and just really trying to be a better person with every day as much as possible. From a more specific standpoint, I really want to work on my physical and mental health. I want to really sort of try and on a daily basis practice mindfulness and work on my ability to cope with anxiety. It's not something I've talked about a whole lot on this channel, but I do struggle with anxiety to the point where it can be debilitating at times and can really get in the way with my daily life. Not every day is equal by any means. Some days are really burdened with anxiety and some days feel very easy, but I am a very anxious person overall. I have been diagnosed with OCD as well, and I just want to kind of stay on top of it as much as possible and practice being mindful in my daily life and try to learn to cope with it as much as I can. In terms of physical health, I just, want to make sure that I'm eating enough, sleeping enough, and checking in with my body as much as possible, because I feel like this kind of goes hand in hand with anxiety, but when you are distracted by mental health issues or any kind of problem that occupies your mind, it can be really hard to check in with your body and its daily needs, such as getting enough water, eating enough food, sleeping enough, and all of that stuff. So I really want to just kind of take that one day at a time and try and put priority on it, because I feel like a lot of times when I'm distracted with a goal that is separate from a very basic human need, I get kind of like caught up in my own head and shove those food, sleep, water needs a little bit lower than they should be, which is not healthy, and I want to work on that. Even more specifically, another goal, and this is a big one, I mentioned last year how I was really working on my acting craft a lot, and I mentioned that in my last video as well. When the pandemic hit, I was in a point where I had a ton of free time, obviously, like everyone else. I wasn't working. I know some people were. I wasn't working. I had had surgery. I had recovered from surgery after a few months, and I was in a position financially where I could really afford to spend some of what I had on acting classes. So I jumped into that for the first time really ever. I had never really taken an ongoing acting class before. I had dabbled in student films and plays and stuff, and I have been interested in acting since I was probably 5, and I knew that it's something I wanted to do for a long time, and especially the last few years it has been my professional goal, but I just didn't have the mental time, the money, or the logistical time to actually prioritize that. And when the pandemic hit, it gave me a full license and full opportunity to do that. I took 2 classes that were focused specifically on voice acting because that's something that I've been passionate about and has been my dream job since I was 12. And then I just recently have kind of been focusing more on acting and performing in general, and I'm taking an improv class right now that I had to audition for, and I'm really excited. I made it into that, and I'm really looking forward to studying more with that, and I'm doing a scene study class, so I really want to just keep the momentum going. I feel like I made a lot of good progress in my acting last year, and I want to take it a step further professionally this year and just try my best to learn and study the art as much as possible and have a ton of fun with it. I'm not going to try and make any predictions about when things will go back to normal, if that's even possible, but you know, with the vaccine news looking somewhat hopeful, if there's any opportunity for me this year to get out and perform in front of a live audience in some way or another, I really want to do that, because that is my biggest Jones. I love performing, I love having an audience. I mean, you can probably tell from these YouTube videos that that's my sort of thing. I really like to perform and to just be myself and to act and to just get out in front of people and say stuff and do stuff and make a fool of myself and have a good time. So if there's any opportunity to go to an open mic night or do some kind of live performance in any way, I would love to jump at that. In the same kind of vein, sort of, I really want to look for more ways that I can utilize the various media that has come about in the last decade, where there's all these opportunities to create content and get it published for free and just produce your own thing. I have thought about doing a podcast. I know everyone and their grandmother is doing that these days, but I really think that there's some potential there, or some kind of, it could be a video podcast, an audio podcast. The details are fuzzy, but that's something I've been thinking about. I've had ideas about like sketch comedy things that I could do and put on YouTube and all kinds of stuff. I just have a lot of vague ideas floating around in my head, and as much as possible I want to look at those this year and try new things and just try to put more content out in different places and in different ways. Now, my final and big, very ambitious goal for 2021 is to move to Los Angeles. This has been my dream location since I was probably about 11, I think. As I mentioned before, since I was little, I just loved acting, and I loved performing, and I loved making movies, and I loved anything like that. I loved any kind of creative project, anything where I got to be in front of an audience. I feel like I've known for a very long time that the entertainment industry is what I want to be in, and it's not lost on me at all that it is extremely competitive and very challenging and not the smartest way to try and make a living. However, it is something that I can't not do. And it's something that, it's a bug. It's the entertainment bug, the performer bug that I got bit with when I was very little. And I remember as an 11-year-old getting really into watching YouTubers, and of course they all lived in Los Angeles, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta do that. I gotta go there. I want to be there. I want to be where the action is. I want to make my own YouTube videos. And then later on it was voice actors, and then it was this and it was that, and there was always a reason for me to want to be in Los Angeles. I visited there once when I was 8, and I really liked it. Obviously it's a little bit different living there than it is being a tourist, but I'm a warm weather person very much. I'm a beach person very much, and it's the place I really want to be. So that has been a goal of mine for years, and this is the year, as much as possible, I really want to try and make it a reality. Now, who knows if that will actually happen or not, but I am, at this moment in time, looking into logistical ways to do that, and to be a starving artist, because I'm very okay with the fact that I will definitely be poor there, at least for the first while. It's where I want to be. I want to meet people there, I want to live there, I want to be with a community of people who are passionate about the same things I'm passionate about. I want to just follow the sun and go where it is and see what happens. And you know what, I'm 19 years old. If there's a time to do it, I think it's now. So that's my biggest, craziest, ambitious goal of the year. Now you all know my secret. Yeah, I just like putting it out in documentation too. All of these things, I like to really kind of put a reminder out there for myself of what I care about right now in life, what is meaningful to me, what I want to try and do and work towards and work on. This isn't like a checklist of things I feel need to happen this year. It's just more of a general idea of what I care about right now and what I think is important for me to be working towards and working on right now. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate you listening to my crazy little dreams that I have. If you'd like, I'd love to hear some of your goals that you may or may not have for this year, or just life goals in general. That's it for this video. I know it's a bit of a shorter one, but it was fun for me to make, and I hope you all had fun watching it. If you have any ideas for any future videos, please write it in the comment section down below. My Instagram and Twitter are also in the description, both of which I'm becoming a little bit more active on and hope to become even more active on in the coming months. So go ahead and give those a follow if you're interested. Subscribe if you want to be nice and watch more of these videos. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.